Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to take a look at the fresh release from Zvezda. And this is a 1/35 scale kit which copies Russian armored vehicle Typhoon-K. So it's a new tooled set, and as far as I can see on ScaleMates, it's completely fresh plastic, so it should be based on some previous releases of the trucks, but overall, let's say hull and other parts are completely new, and it will be interesting for modelers who would like to replicate an usual armored vehicle. So we have a commercial sample here. It was purchased with your help. I really appreciate. Thank you for supporting us and making it possible to review such interesting kits. So first of all, you can see we have really nice box art here, and here is comparison with my hand. Next, on the side we have some safety information and also some info about the kit. So there are 372 parts, and final length of the assembled model will be 22.7 centimeters. So it's not that big, frankly speaking, for 1/35 scale. And on the opposite side you can see 3 other kits from the same brand. Some of them we reviewed already, so if you would like to check them, just type in the name or kit number and you'll find it easily. So also on the rear side, I almost forgot. So here on the rear side we have pictures of the finished vehicle, and straight away you can notice that you can open the door on the finished model, so it might be a useful function for some modelers who like to build dioramas. And even the rear hatch here can be opened, so add some figures and you'll have an interesting project in 1/35 scale. So as usual, box is sealed with a tape here, so I'm going to use a knife in order to cut through, and then we will start checking everything what is inside. In the meantime, I would like to remind you that you can support us financially, so if you would like to make it possible to get new kits like today, just click the link in the video description. There is a PayPal link, so you can send us a small amount, and it will be really appreciated, because it will make it possible to check some, let's say, rare kits or kits which otherwise I won't be able to get and to review in our video. So here we have this cardboard box. It's quite sturdy, so it should protect everything inside. Now I'm going to open it, and here inside we have several plastic bags. So here is the first one, as you can see, and I think we will start with it. But first I need to place the box properly, and maybe also to open this plastic bag, so just give me a second. It's a sealed plastic bag, so it's not reusable. I mean, not resealable, so you can't use it or seal it again. But still you can store some sprues inside. So here is the first gray plastic sprue. Let's place it in the center of our table, maybe zoom in a bit so that it will be easier to see what we have here. And you can notice that these parts are mostly for external panels, and I do not see anything for the interior, frankly speaking. We also have some thin parts here, so it's worth zooming in as much as we can so that you can check all these parts in detail. So molding quality looks fine, but as I said, these parts are really thin, so be careful with them, and maybe try to get a plastic saw. Otherwise it will be really tricky to get them separate from the sprue. Also note that these gas springs are provided in retracted and closed position, so it might be useful for the rear hatch from what I can understand, but we will check the assembly manual, obviously. Here we have some stowage boxes. Also we continue with leg rests. Actually, these are side steps, not leg rests. And here we have Pioneer tools, for example, shovel, and more body panels. Next we continue with various handles, quite thin parts again, and here we have some frames, or let's say armor for the headlights. Again, I'm really impressed with the recent quality improvement in Zvezda kits. This one is not an exclusion from this rule. You can see it with your own eyes. There are no issues whatsoever, so it's just a matter of careful assembly and you will be good to go. Next, we have 2 identical plastic sprues here, so just give me a second, I will show you only one. And this one is even more interesting because here we have not only external parts, we also have interior parts. So you can take a look at the whole sprue, and now let's zoom in so that you can understand what we are talking about. So here, for example, we have some parts for the suspension. Again, a lot of small separate arms, so it should be quite nicely detailed suspension, and I would rather recommend to think how to expose it on the finished model, because it would be a shame to hide it inside. And of course it's a wise idea to play with weathering on this. Here we have separate hatches. I guess these ones will be on the top, and you can also note here the 2 seats which will be placed inside, but obviously there will be more because it's a personal transporter, let's say. Here we continue with more suspension arms and wheel rims. So they're plastic, but we have vinyl tires here, which should be a bit more detailed. We will talk about them in a few seconds, so you will see what I mean. Here we continue with some engine and gearbox parts, some interior parts for the seats. Here we have more seat parts, and as you can see, they are nicely detailed. I'm really surprised to see such level of attention to small features in the standard plastic, let's say, so you don't have to spend some extra money. Maybe it would be a wise idea to replicate straps or seat belts on this, because they are not included here, but who knows, maybe they are copied with help of decals, so it might be possible, and we would see it further in the video review. And now we can turn our attention to the vinyl tires. So they're provided in the separate plastic bag. Here it is. And it's not as simple as it might sound, because here we have something different from what we are used to see when we say a vinyl tire. Everybody expects that it will be a poorly detailed vinyl part, but here take a look at the tire wall. We have a tire manufacturer logo, we have also all the necessary lines here, so that's really impressive level of attention to small features. Here you can check the opposite side, and of course the tire itself, you can note that the overall pattern is really nice, so it's just a matter of careful installation. That's definitely more than enough for out-of-the-box build. I know there will be some modelers who would like to get the resin wheels on their models, but in my opinion this is a decent inclusion into the kit. It's not something to be ashamed of, and it should work on your big truck. Next, I'm opening another plastic bag, so just give me a sec. Maybe you can hear the sound of the plastic bag. Let's pretend that we are doing this video with the sounds as some people like. Okay, so here we have another 3 sprues, so I'm just trying to take them out. Give me a moment. Okay, now it should be fine. Sorry if it was too loud, but here we are going to start with this plastic sprue. This one is used for the main hull, and you can notice these are body panels. Obviously we have the side panels with the front section here, so front doors are separate, as you remember. The same can be said about the rear hatch. Here we have also chassis bars, which are molded together with this special supports for the suspension parts, and everything looks really nice. So we can zoom in and you take a closer look at the external features. So obviously it all demands a careful weathering in order to bring out some features, and note that some thin handles are molded in, so be careful not to break them off. But other than that, I do not see any issues here, and maybe it would be a wise idea to do a dry fitment of such large parts before joining them. Let's flip them over. Yeah, inside we have some guiding elements, but still it would be a good idea to try to fit them properly. So next, we continue with another plastic sprue which carries mix of different parts, and I will show it in a sec. So here it is. It's not only the external parts, we also have the drivetrain, for example. We have some suspension parts, separate doors here, And again, everything looks pretty much decent, so there is nothing to complain about. But parts count, as you remember, it's more than 300 parts inside, so you have to work with these elements and you have to keep track of what goes where. And I really like this decision to have separate doors, to have separate hatches, because it should be handy even if you're not building diorama, because you will be able to show what is hidden inside, and otherwise it would be a shame to hide full interior behind the closed doors. So here you can see, by the way, the jerry can. We go on with radiator, fence, and some external minor features. Obviously there is let's say space for improvement, so maybe some aftermarket manufacturers will be targeting some interior features, some external features, clamps, etc. But still, even in its standard form, what we can see today, I think this kit offers a truly beautiful details, and you can see it here on the next sprue. So this one is the final frame, and again it is occupied with these two large panels. It's top and bottom. We also have frontal panel, and we have some parts for an engine as far as I can understand. We also have the dashboard here. Let's zoom into it so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here it is. We have some pre-molded features on this dashboard, and I can guess that some other features will be replicated with help of decals. Here we continue with some body parts. And note that these hull panels, they have some pre-molded elements as well. So it should simplify the assembly process if you're afraid of the parts count. By the way, here we have two large chassis bars. As you can see, they are quite long. And here we have the top panel with separate hatches. And again, some handles will have to be installed here and there, so be ready for that. And I think these top and bottom panels actually give you the idea of the final size of the final model. So here you can see comparison with my hand. And let's flip them over. Here inside we have some guiding elements again, tabs here and there, so it will be more or less easy to align, but still I would recommend to do a dry fitment and to do it almost on every step, because these are quite large parts, so it's better to be safe. Otherwise it will be visible once you assemble the vehicle. Okay, next we continue with clear plastic frame. So it is packed together with decals and also chrome stickers, which will be used for side view mirrors. So just give me a second to remove all this stuff and we will take a closer look together. So yes, there are no seat belts included even on the decals. So here you can see decals. But still, printing quality looks nice, so at least we have some decals for the dashboard, so it won't be an empty dashboard. But as for the seat belts, you will have to do everything with your own hands. Next, we continue with chrome stickers. So here they are. These ones will be used for side view mirrors. So definitely apply them for a bit more convincing appearance, or maybe you can replicate it with the chrome paint. Some modelers do so because it is a bit more natural looking and it still looks nice, let's say. Next, we continue with this nylon mesh. So it's also a good thing to have because, as you can see, Zvezda does not include the PE parts, but at least we can replicate the mesh on the engine bay with help of this material. So it's also a viable alternative for out-of-the-box build. Obviously, modelers who would like to see a better features, they will resort to aftermarket PE. And here we continue with clear parts. So molding quality looks really nice. There are no muted parts and everything looks clear and crisp, but masks are not included. It's traditional, let's say, feature of Zvezda, so be ready for that. And it might require some due care when you'll be cutting the stickers, or maybe you'll have to wait for some aftermarket release in order to get the necessary stickers if you're not into cutting your own masks, let's say. Other than that, we have the marking guide, which is printed in color. Here you can see the first marking option, so that's the vehicle. Frankly speaking, I do not see where it was operating, so just give me a second. So it is Syrian police unit 2017, and you can see also on the writings. And another one is from also military police Far Eastern Military District 2018. As you can see, it has these stripes on one of the sides, and it's also green color, so it will be more of a choice which weathering you would like to replicate, because obviously these two countries have different conditions, so the dust and dirt, they will be different on each of the markings. Next, we continue with the assembly manual. So this one is traditionally black and white. Again, another thing which is not surprising in Zvezda kit, but from the other side, it helps them to reduce the price to the possible minimum. So, okay, I'm fine as long as they have the color printed painting or marking guide. Here we start with a short history note, and also you get the choice between two assembly options. As you can see, one with closed doors and hatches, one with open, and maybe it can be considered as a small hint what you can replicate with this kit. Next, we have parts map. There is no mention of what parts are not used here, so be careful and use the right elements. And we start with interior parts, so obviously first you assemble the front cab. Next you continue with the internal compartment with these seats in one row. And as I said, they will look a bit plain, especially if you plan to open the interior here. So definitely consider replicating the seat belts on the front seats and inside as well. Next, we continue with installing the various interior walls, and we start detailing the side walls as well. As you can see, a lot of small parts to apply here and there. That's the top panel, and that's something interesting. So just give me a second, I will check it. So, no, I was happy too early. So this is actually the template for the net cutting, or in case you would like to replicate a mesh with a net, you can replicate it with help of this template. But why they do not include the same template for the clear part masks, I'm not sure why. So here we continue with the dashboard, the steering wheel column, and here, by the way, you can see this mesh installed inside. And again, here we have quite important steps, so we join sidewalls, top and bottom parts. Next, you install the front panel, which will be assembled out of two panels. Here you can see it. And another interesting thing will be to assemble the chassis. So it will be not only the matter of assembly this drivetrain together with chassis bars, but also suspension parts. As you can see, springs. Also, we continue with headlamps here and there, headlamps protection, fuel tank. And next, we install all this stuff on the truck. There is also protection from the bottom, as you can see. And of course, mud guards for wheels. And next, we continue with doors. We install wheels, and that's pretty much all. Of course, screen wipers, the side ladder, and various minor items on the truck. I'm still trying to find the template for the painting, but as you can see, clear parts just get inserted here. So who knows, maybe you can paint it before installing these clear parts and then just glue in clear parts and they will look fine. So it might be also a viable option, because from what I can see here, you can actually paint them and then just insert the clear parts with help of liquid glue maybe. So it's also a doable thing. But all in all, we have really nice kit, and it should be already available. So again, I would like to thank you for helping in getting this kit. Of course, you can get it in any good model shop if you would like to get it ASAP. And I would be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, do not forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video as usual. Bye.